On today's video, we'll be discussing being priced out of reach, the two sides of every story. This topic seems to come up every couple of months. Are we being priced out of reach for Magic the Gathering? Is it too expensive for everyone to play? You know what? I get how people can feel sometimes about this particular topic. I understand why it keeps coming up. A lot of times it's new people who have found my channel who send me an email and they give me a little story about how they had a friend who gave them some cards, or they went to an FM the first night, they kind of watched but they kind of liked what was going on. They may have just played on Arena and they liked the look of the game and then they went to actually buy cards. No matter how a person got involved in Magic, I'll use some examples today, but no matter how it goes, there are two sides to every story. There always is. From two kids arguing in a playground about who's right and who's wrong and whose turn it was and whose turn it's not, to two people playing a game saying you cheated and they say no, you cheated. There's always two sides. So when that person goes to a Magic store, they're excited. They buy an intro commander deck. Let's say they buy a $30 deck. They go home, they play with some friends, they had a little bit of fun, and they're like, I really do like this game. I think this game is wow, like amazing. I want more of this. Let's get into this. Now, depending on their financial circumstance, that may have limits. So they go back and the friend goes, hey, do you want to come to the store with me? I'm going to the LGS again. We can shop around for some cards to pimp out that new commander deck you started. Let's go. And they go there and he says, wow, some of these cards are really expensive. And he goes into the LGS shelf. You know, he's looking at these cards. And he sees that there are Moxes there for $5,000, $6,000, $7,000. Black Lotus, $50K. And he just freaks out and realizes how expensive this game can be. I understand that. Having the idea that you will never be able to afford some of the cards in this game can freak people out. They can get really upset and say, this is ridiculous to pay that kind of money for cardboard. They are expensive pieces of cardboard, don't get me wrong. But there is a flip side to that. Let me go over here. Those cards didn't always cost that. Now let me go back. They didn't always cost that. The second side of that story is in 1993 when this game came out, those cards didn't have that kind of value associated with them. That happened through attrition as cards were destroyed and wrecked, as value was attributed to these cards with age. There's been a long road to get those cards to where they are now. A new person coming into Magic, they see a lot. They know a lot. We have internet, Google, we got everything to find out the facts about this game. We didn't have that back in the day. There was no way of seeing what a town even a couple hours away got compared to what we have in our town. That's not how the game was designed back then. That's not how distribution worked. We had no way of communicating those interesting facts with each other. But that new player nowadays can see everything. And they can either say, yeah, I'm going to try, or they can just flat out say, this is ridiculous. I'm not getting involved in a game that is this expensive. And they can step back and leave. I can totally empathize with that. I can see how people would think that it is too expensive to play. But let's go back a second. When I started playing this game, it was $2.95 roughly a booster pack, plus taxes, and taxes are brutal in Canada, but plus tax. And if you go nowadays to an LGS, it's like $6 a pack. Well, 30 years of inflation from $2.95 to $6, that actually seems very reasonable for that almost 30 years of lifespan of the game. It seems pretty reasonable that that's what the costs are nowadays. You can't really knock it that much. I understand the profit margins and stuff for individual cards can change because back then we mostly traded cards, but just buying a pack is about the same. In some cases, buying commander decks for $60, now they have these intro commander decks that are like $30. It's like half the price. That's pretty exciting for a new player coming in. Wizards of the Coast does try to keep these products at an affordable level for new players coming in, hoping to draw in a new audience and be welcomed in by the Magic community of established players to build up that love for the game that we all have. Basically so they can milk more money from us later, but that's what they're trying to do. Okay? Now on that flip side, Yes, I understand that that pack I opened 30 years ago could have very expensive cards in it. Versus a pack nowadays, you have to hope to get some amazing card. I understand the values aren't always there for both of those cards, but they both will have some value, and who knows what 30 more years will bring to the game. No one knows because we haven't got there yet. It's an amazing game with two sides to every tale that you hear. From the player who made a killing on a box to a player who got slammed by a box. And it's usually me who gets some of those really bad personal videos of horrible box openings. But when I'm opening other people's boxes, it seems to go pretty well. There's two sides to that. They don't make the game equal. This game was not designed to be equal. It has a gambling aspect to it, which in some cases people really win. Some people break even. Some people lose. If you buy enough of it, yes, you can get that law of average, but then that costs a lot of money, which can turn off players. Before you really start hating the game, decide how you want to play Magic the Gathering. Don't become so upset that you just quit unless that's your only option. If you enjoy playing the game, play it for fun. Have a good time. You don't have to be competitive. You don't have to be that player who has to win. We all know that player who has to win, who goes out and buys every killer combo card they possibly can because they want to be competitive. They want to play in the tournaments. They want to win. Their fun factor is the win factor. They got to win. Some players like complex creative decks with all kinds of different avenues to it. Everyone's got their own mode of what they like. There's two sides to all those stories. And that's how you find different play groups to play in. That's how we find different friends at different stores to play at. That's how the game's designed. It's a social game that you get to have fun playing. Just like Monopoly and Risk. Social game. You can only take so much before you need to take a break, kick back, and do something else for a while. But don't become so upset when you see that the game is expensive. Because nobody said this game was fair that way. Nobody said they're going to reprint these things and make it that way. For all you know, they could have gone the route of every set gets one printing, when it's done, they just move on to the next set. Imagine how crazy that would be if they said, we're only printing 10,000 boxes of each set, and that's all there's going to be for each set going forward. How do you think that would affect the secondary market? There are two sides to everything, and that would be just as crazy. We have a pretty amazing game out there that we all get to enjoy each and every day. When I meet new players, I want to welcome them in. I usually give them some freebies, help people out. I want them to love Magic the way I love playing it. I'm lucky enough I get to go out here every day and talk to people on YouTube about the love of the game. Even though topics like this come up, which can be difficult to say, are we being priced out? Priced out of what? What part of the game are you being priced out of? Are you trying to keep up with the Joneses? Are you trying to get those amazing moxes? Are you just enjoying the game, playing with whatever you get? I understand. There are two sides to that. You know? I totally understand. That's why proxies exist for some people. Because they said, I'm still going to play with that card. I'll just make my own. I get it. I get it both sides of the way, man. Guys, I really hope you enjoyed tuning in today. I know the game's not fair, but at least we get to talk about it every day and enjoy the game we love. Thanks a lot for tuning in. This is MTG Moxman. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. And nah, we're not being priced out. Not at all. Big shout out goes out to each and every one of my fabulous patrons, guys. Thanks again. I'm really glad to have all of you aboard helping me out each and every time. Patrons make the world go round. Guys, thanks again. Look forward to seeing all my patrons on the live stream this weekend. Do you ever have one of those days where you're looking for something, I wanted to show you all something, and now I can't find it? No matter how hard I look, I don't know where it went. And now it's driving me completely batty trying to figure out where it is. I mean, I'm a pretty messy person, but this was pretty important. And I got it at a thrift store, and now I can't find it. So it's driving me insane. That's okay. I will make this up to you guys next time. Bear with me. Thanks a lot, guys. You made it to the end where I look all befuddled wondering where it is.